everyone, my name is Brandy and I am coming to you to talk about the double leg stretch. It is one of our exercises in the mat, basic 10. It's on the more advanced beginner, getting up to intermediate side of the basic 10, but it is in the basic 10. So there are some modifications and advancements to the move itself. And the double leg stretch comes immediately after the single leg stretch. So progressing from stretching one leg out to a more distal or farther away from the center of the body, the core. So moving one leg at a time from a more center place to a more outstretched place. And then it progresses to both arms and legs. So really reaching out distal, really reaching out away from that center of the body, which makes it more challenging. So that's why it's on the more advanced beginner intermediate end of the basic 10. So let's go ahead and get started and talk a little bit about some of the nuances of double leg stretch, where you can take it to advance it, where you can go and modify it a bit if you're noticing you're compromising in some areas of the core, and also where you can go to work up to the double leg stretch if, even given the modifications, it's still challenging and you are struggling keeping that deep core engagement to really stabilize you. So what you want to be careful of is those who have a history of diastasis recti, which is a separation of the linea alba, which is the tissue that runs along the center of the rectus abdominis, your six-pack muscles. So if you have a history of that, you want to be careful here and really make sure you're nice and stable in the core. You're knitting that area together, avoiding that tenting of the rectus abdominis, which is putting more pressure on that linea alba, causing it to exacerbate the problem. We don't want to see that. And also, if you have any issue like pelvic floor issues and there's a lot of pressure happening in the pelvic floor, you really want to make sure that your deep core muscles, so your transverse abdominis, the waistband muscle that holds in your internal organs, is really, you're really able to keep that nice and tight 360 around your midsection, and that you're able to pull up and in and relax that pelvic floor too. So really kind of keeping everything nice and stable while you're working here, so that you're not causing more pressure in the areas to cause some further issues. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So you're going to come to lying on a yoga mat or a Pilates mat, or even a towel on the ground, or if you have access to a nice mat that's elevated, then that's even better. So if you have a small pad for your head or a rolled up towel so that your head and neck is in alignment, and this way you can really have your collarbone nice and wide, your shoulders are in contact with the mat, your spine is in contact with the mat, having that small space underneath your lumbar spine and the space underneath your neck. So the prereq for the double leg stretch is 100 with legs extended. So if you're currently working on your 100 with your head and neck down, that's okay. So with the 100, right, we have our arms along stretched. We usually have our legs up into the top. This is a challenge for you to keep that core engagement I was talking about, that 360 waistband, the pelvic floor coming up and in. And you're really still feeling that bulge in the front of the belly, that tenting, then you're bringing your legs further in, right? And we're living here. Okay, that's the prereq for this exercise. If you're still here, stay here at the 100 and keep working, keep pulling in the abs, keep working on engaging the deep core muscles, pulling the pelvic floor up and up to a vertical position, or in Pilates V or parallel, keeping the inner thighs squeezed together, keeping that pelvic floor and abdominal integrity, starting to lower the legs. Now, as you lower the legs, you don't want to lift the bottom of the ribs off. You want to keep the ribs knitted together, keeping that core engaged, all right, squeezing the inner thighs. Pilates V or parallel, whatever feels better for your hip, but keeping the inner thighs squeezed. This helps to pull up and in that pelvic floor. It's a lot of work here, okay, even with the head and neck down and working that plunger. Okay, once you get here, then you can start to work the modified double leg stretch, okay, with the legs vertical or even bringing those legs down, just making sure you're not compromising in that thoracic spine. Because once you flare out those ribs, the core is just mushier. Yeah, the deep abdominal muscles, they've already turned on. So you want to make sure you're keeping those ribs and have the bottom of the ribs in contact with the mat. You can have a slight space in between the lumbar spine, but with the legs up, you can come to that imprinted spine of the lumbar spine. That's okay, to give you a little more stability in the core, okay? So those are options to you. All right, so the full expression of the double leg stretch. So that was kind of going through prereqs into the modified version, okay? So the full expression of the double leg stretch. After the single leg stretch, which is your same hand is on the ankle, the opposite hand is on the knee, right? And you can either have head down or you can come up to the tips of the shoulder blades, making sure you're keeping that integrity. All right, you're gonna pull the knees, both knees into the chest, okay? Either with head down or the fullest expression coming up to the tips of the shoulder blades, okay? All right, so full expression here is reaching arms and legs out, okay? Keeping that integrity, making sure you're not bulging out, tenting, okay? You're gonna inhale here with arms and legs out. You're gonna exhale, circle, and pull in, okay? Inhale, exhale. Your legs can be straight and parallel or Pilates V. Just again, keeping that inner thigh squeeze, keep everything pulled up and in. And exhale, circle, and round, okay? We usually do about 8 to 10 of those before we lay down. Take a rest, pulling the knees in first, and then resting the head and neck down. So that's the fullest expression of the exercise. There's an archival version, but I'm not going to get into that. That's a little more on the intermediate, getting into the advanced side. So we'll leave that there. Let's talk about the modified version. So, like I said, if you're not able, with head and neck down, to reach those legs up without tenting, you're staying at 100. If you're able to keep everything up and in, keeping the abs knitted together, keeping the ribs knitted together, the bottom of the ribs down on the mat, okay, you can be in Pilates V or parallel, whatever is better for your hips, squeezing the inner thighs. All right, you're gonna reach your arms up. This is the modified version. So, inhale up, exhale straight down and curl. Inhale, exhale, pull it up and in. Okay, as you curl in, almost imagine like you were gonna bring the bottom of the ribs and the top of the pelvis closer together, but you're still keeping that tailbone rooted. That is gonna get those abs really scooped up and relax the head, neck, and shoulders. I always get a little tight there, so make sure you relax there. Pull it in. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay? All right. If you're there and that's, you could take it up a notch, then you can start playing around with lowering those legs. Make sure you're not compromising, like I said, in that upper back. Okay? Keeping everything moving. And then you can work there. Yep. And then eventually maybe you can bring the arms out in front. Yeah. Just making those levers longer, moving them farther away from the body to make it more challenging. Okay? So I'm going to start with the fullest expression. Okay? So we came here. We just ended our single leg stretch. All right? We were up connected. Inhale for a set, exhale for a set. We're bringing it in, and then we're going to inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Knees in, and then shoulders down. And rocking it side to side. All right, modified version. Okay, we just came in from our double leg stretch. Inhale for a set. Exhale for a set. Inhale in, stay for the exhale. Inhale, exhale, straight down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. This is work, y'all. And 8. Rocking it side to side. Good job. So try it. See where you are. And again, if even reaching the arms and the legs, you're still noticing you're having a hard time, if you're still maybe postpartum or you've had a number of abdominal surgeries, pelvic floor, and you're really just having difficulty keeping it all up and in, just keep working that plunger. Yeah, moving from here to maybe tabletop, knees over the hips, yeah, working here, and start working those levels first before you get into it. All right, we're gonna roll over to our side, press up that hand, especially if you have issues with diastasis recti. You always wanna roll over to get up. You always wanna roll to the side. And I don't think I demonstrated that before. Roll over onto the back so that you're not putting pressure on the center of the rectus abdominis, that linea alba, okay? Because when we crunch up, if you're not staying mindful and really knitting it all in, you're putting pressure. So you always want to roll over to the side, press up to come up, okay? All right, practice safely, y'all. Thank you for joining me. I hope this helped. And getting a little more core, a little more stabilization in the core, in the pelvic floor. And we'll see you here on the mat. Thanks so much. Again, I'm Brandy at Dawn Pilates. Thank you. Bye.